She didn't even look at my weight. Everything was, she was just concerned about me as the patient. Like, what are you going through the day of the procedure, and how things just went totally different than what was planned. Okay, y'all, I was scared crapless. And it was like a table in there with like these big boots, y'all. The boots were so freaking big. They were like really high. So he put that over my nose and she said, Miss Lassiter, do 5 deep breaths. I want to make sure your lungs is full of oxygen. So I did one big one and she was like, Miss Lassiter, you're doing so good. She like grabbed my hand. She touched my face and she looked at me in my eyes and she said, trust God. She said, everything is going to be okay. Keep praying. God got you. That's what this lady said to me. And that's how I knew God was in there. God was in the operating room. Okay, do you feel me? Right now. I need all the bitches to break this dance floor. Hey, right now. What up, gang, gang, gang? It's your girl P, guys, and we're back with another one. So y'all already know, give this video a thumbs up, all that stuff, subscribe, share these videos to help somebody else who may be going through the same thing. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to just go over everything, my whole experience with the is it called a hysteroscopy, and I had a D&C, a METROPLASty, all of those things in one. I want to tell you guys like what I experienced with it. I want to tell you guys why I had to do it, and if this could have been a reason why I haven't had kids yet, etc. It's a lot of women who have had this procedure done. I'm talking about y'all just forgive me because I'm butchering it. The hysteroscopy. A lot of you guys had it done for different reasons. A lot of people get it done because they had a miscarriage and they need to get all the old lining cleaned out. People get it done to see why they're having miscarriages or why they're having abnormal bleeding, all those type of things. But all right, let me get my notes and I'll be right back. I really do hope the lighting isn't too bad for you guys. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just in my room chilling. I decided to sit on the floor and just have a serious heart-to-heart conversation with you guys. So this is what's going on with me and what I had noticed. So as you guys know of previous videos, if you watched the previous videos, and I hope that you guys really do watch this whole video because it explains a lot of just women in our bodies and things we go through, period, and why you should not ignore your body. So since my very first menstruation, it's always been like heavy, lasted for a long time, and all those things. So of course, when you go to the doctor, they always use the fat card, like, oh, it's because you're overweight. This is why you're bleeding like this. But no one really checks to see what's really going on. And I'm pretty sure way back then, they probably didn't even know the things they know now. So they probably just did tell people like you need to lose weight for your periods to go normal. But anyway, so like I told you guys, when I was in like 20 years old, I was working and I almost passed out at work because I just got really lightheaded. And when I went downstairs, because we had a doctor's office downstairs where I used to work, and I went downstairs and they did blood work and came back that my iron was, well, my hemoglobin was really, really low, and my iron. So they was like, why is your hemoglobin so low? So I was like, well, I've been bleeding for 4 months. So they was like, whoa. So anyways, went to a GYN because again, I had my periods would be on sometime for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. It just depends. Like they just have a monitor on, like sometimes they'll go off for like a week or two, then they'll come right back on. It was just a lot going on with my administration. So anyways, I went to the GYN when I was like 20 years old, and they was basically like, we don't know what's wrong, but it could be your weight, but we want to do an ultrasound. So they sent me to go get an ultrasound. When I got an ultrasound, they saw that I had 2 endometriums. Well, that's what they call it. They was like, you have 2 endometriums. So when one period go off, the other one think is coming on. The other one comes on. So that's why you're having double the periods, lasting so long with heavy bleeding all these years. So I was like, okay. So my GYN get the results, and the only thing she told me was, well, we can give you this medicine called Provera, or we can give you, or you can do the ablation procedure. And she was like, with the ablation, it would cause me not to have kids at all. It would cut my periods completely off, but I won't be able to have kids. So she was like, think about it, take this medicine. And she was just like, you know, try to lose some weight. That's pretty much the problem. She didn't say nothing else. That was it. So at this point, I felt very discouraged, and I was just like, oh my God, like just praying all the time, like, Lord, help my periods, help me to be normal, Jesus. Like, I don't know why I'm bleeding like this. And then not only bleeding, but sometimes having some serious pains, like clots, like, you know, like sometimes I didn't even know what was going on down there. It was just like up and down all the time, always feeling tired because of the bleeding, whatever. So that happened. I didn't go back to the GYN. At this point, I was done with going to the GYN because I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So this year, why we are at the place where we are today is because you guys know I was living in Georgia and I wasn't feeling good living there. So when I moved back home, I was going to the doctor a lot just to see why I wasn't feeling good and like checking my vitamin levels and things like that. So my primary, she did all my blood work, A1C, you know, check all my nutrients and minerals in my body, stuff like that, whatever. She was like, well, your iron is really low, your vitamin D is low, your folate, like she just told me all that stuff was low. That has a lot to do with, you know, my blood. So she was like, you know, I'm a little worried that eventually you're going to have to go get iron infusions if we don't get this under control, because your body is working harder trying to produce oxygen and blood, So whatever. So she was like, there's this really good GYN that's in your network, and a lot of people like her, and I want to refer you to her. So I was like, okay, boom. Because mind you, I told y'all that I was done with the GYN. Like, I was just like, I'm done with them. Because they just so discouraging when it comes to my menstruation. And plus, my last pap smear I had, I think I didn't have to come back for 6 years or something. So I was like, okay, I'm still good, whatever. So anyways, I go to this GYN, and when I met her, which you guys saw, she was like a breath of fresh air. She was like, she didn't even look at my weight. Everything was, she was just concerned about me as the patient. Like, what are you going through? She could like, she's almost like she could relate to the things I was experiencing. It was almost like I was talking to a homegirl. She was very informative. She took her time and she was very patient with me. And if you guys want to know who she is, her name is Dr. Lauren Rodeker, and she's with Duke Women's Health, and I highly recommend her. So anyways, and I was telling her my symptoms about, like, you know, me trying to lose weight, but sometimes I lose weight, then I gain weight, like a lot of weight. Then I was telling her about my irregular periods, and I was telling her about like the hair growth, like the beard and the mustache and stuff like that. And she was like, well, it sounds like you have PCOS. So that's the first thing she said. So then she was like, well, she did the pap smear. This is my first appointment. She did the pap smear, all that kind of stuff. And then she, she went to do an ultrasound. So we did that. So I did the ultrasound, all that stuff came back, and she took her time and broke everything down to me. Like, this is what's going on. So she saw the 2 endometriums as well. But she didn't call it 2 endometriums. She just said you have a thick lining in your uterus, which is pretty much it's called a uterine septum. And you have some polyps in there that they're most likely non-cancerous, but you have some polyps in there, and we want to get in there and clean it up. So that's why she recommended me doing the hysteroscopy. Y'all forgive me. So let me tell y'all what a uterine septum is, like what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. So this picture right here, if you guys can see, is how our normal uterus looks. This is your vaginal, you know, entrance. This is the cervix coming into the uterus and your fallopian tube. This is how it's supposed to look, a normal one, right? So this is me right here. So I have all the regular parts, but I have an extra little lining right here in the middle. A lot of women have this, which, believe it or not, it is something that is more normal than what you think. A lot of times, sometimes it don't cause you to have infertility problems, but sometimes it can. Sometimes it's hard for the egg to fall because, again, you have this lining in the middle. Yeah, it can cause irregular periods, heavy periods. things like that. So all the things that I had been experiencing, it was because I had this and I was born with this. This right here is literally a birth defect. This is something I was born with as a fetus in my mom's womb. Something that I could not have controlled. It has nothing to do with being overweight. This is just something I was born with, and this is just this is what it is. So this procedure is called a metroplasty. So they go in with the camera, which is the camera part is the hysteroscope. You know what I'm trying to say. That's the camera part. So they go in and they clean all of that out. They clean that lining out. They take out all the polyps and all that kind of stuff. So I think I showed you guys this picture here in my video before. So I don't know if you guys can see, but this picture right here, this right here is that lining that I was telling you guys about, my septum. So that picture is the septum that she had to remove. If you look right here closely, this right here is a polyp, and it's like literally in front of my fallopian tube entrance. So if an egg was to come, it would have been hard to pass because of that cyst. So this is how it looks after she cleans it out. It looks really good. Looks like I still have a lot of thick tissue, but that's normal. I mean, we shed tissue every time we have administration. So yeah, that's how it looks. So these are the two things. So she went in there and pretty much cleaned all of that stuff out. So like I said, I had a D&C. A D&C cleans all this stuff out and they remove the polyps. And then I had to get that uterine septum removed. So now let me tell you about, so yeah, those are the things that happen. So now we're going to get to the part where we talk about the day of the procedure and how things just went totally different than what was planned. Okay. Y'all, I was scared crapless. Okay. So my procedure date was January the 15th at 12 noon. My understanding was that I was going to be put under sedation. I was told to bring my CPAP just in case I have problem breathing while under sedation, that my CPAP will help my lungs stay open, things like that. And that was what I was told. I was told that the procedure would take 45 minutes, 45 to 60 minutes, and that was it. Okay. So when I get there, when I get to the hospital, first of all, no one could be back there with you because of COVID. They changed all the rules. So pretty much all the patients who needed to have an outpatient surgery that day, we all had COVID tests. So that's why we were only able to go back there. All of our loved ones had to sit in the lobby for the time that we were back, back there, whatever. So anyways, they called me to the back. I go back there. They weigh me. They check my temperature. She wanted me to pee in the cup to check if I was pregnant. So that was supposed to be the pregnancy test. But when I got there, I had told her that I could not pee because I haven't drunk anything since freaking 8 o'clock that other night. So I didn't have no urine in me. I had just peed before I got there. So it wasn't nothing to come out. So she was like, well, you can't pee. We're going to have to do a blood pregnancy test. I was like, okay, that's totally fine. And then, so whatever, they weighed me like I said. So I go back in my room and she was like, this is your room. Get undressed. They have myself on the bed as you guys saw in the vlog. So that was cool. I got dressed, all that kind of stuff. Checked my blood pressure. They did the pregnancy test. They put the IV in, all that kind of stuff. Everything was going all fine. So then my doctor comes in, Dr. Rodeker, and she was just like, can you sign this consent form? She was just going over like what could happen. It's a lot of possibilities, like, she could go through too far all the way through the uterus. She could damage blood vessels, things like that. She was just like, how you got to do your little paper or whatever to sign, to give them consent to do the procedure. If something happened, you are aware of it. So I did that. Then all of a sudden it was like, well, the anesthesiologist is going to come in there. So this is one thing. So like I told y'all, my blood pressure was a little elevated. I think it was like 148 over like 100 or something. It was pretty elevated. And it was like, 140 over 100. the bottom number was pretty high. So that was like, it was like 148 over. Yeah. So she was like, well, this is pretty normal. You being nervous, your blood pressure high. Because I take my blood pressure every day at 10:30. So I was under the impression that I was going to be able to take it because they told me to take my blood pressure medicine that day. I was supposed to take 3 medicines that morning. My nasal spray, my Flonase, my hormone pill, and my blood pressure medicine. But my procedure didn't start till 12. So I was like, well, I should have enough time to take my blood pressure medicine. So anyways, I didn't get a chance to take it. And then the nurse that was like helping me prep, she was like, well, I don't know if you should take it. I'll talk to the doctor to see if you could take it. But a lot of times doing anesthesia, you know, your blood pressure drops so low, so you might not even need it anyway. So I was like, okay, cool, bang. So that's the part about the blood pressure, whatever. So whatever. So I'm sitting there. So then they was like, the anesthesiologist is about to come in there. So the anesthesiologist came in there, and her name was Megan. She was nice. And then there was a dude named Andrew too, her little tech help person. So Megan was like, well, you know, since you do have sleep apnea, and, you know, since you are, you know, overweight, we feel more comfortable with giving you general anesthesia with a breathing tube. So someone who never been under anesthesia before, that really freaked me out like a lot. So I remember texting my mom and my brother that was like, well, guys, they're going to put me all the way under general anesthesia with the tube. And my mom was like freaking out because, again, me and my brother never been under before. So it was like, that was like a big deal with a breathing tube. Because I was in the impression that I was just, because all my pre-op stuff, they was like, you're going to just use your CPAP, all that kind of stuff, whatever. So I was like, okay, cool, bean. So anyways, I was freaking out. As you guys saw the vlog, I was like just praying and just trying to stay calm. So, yeah. So I signed the papers, and she was just like, you're going to be fine. Don't worry. We're going to take good care of you. She was like, I know you're nervous. I know it's your first time. But we got you. That's what the anesthesiologist says. I was like, okay, boom. So she left, and then my nurse was like, she turned my light off, and she was like, just relax, just sit back. So she took my phone, she put all my stuff in the cubby. Oh yeah, I meant to say that when the anesthesiologist came in there, my nurse was telling her, well, she got her CPAP, and then that's when the anesthesiologist was like, well, she's not gonna need her CPAP. You could put it in her cubby because we're going to put her all the way under. So anyways, like I said, they turned the lights off. She told me to relax. I was just laying there without no phone or nothing. I was just like, oh my God, by myself. My husband in the lobby, my mama at home, probably worried, crazy, whatever. So my surgery, because obviously I didn't have a clock in the room. I didn't even know what time it was, but all I know is that when the lady closed my curtain, she was just like, just relax. Your surgery started at 12 o'clock. The anesthesiologist team will be coming to come get you. So I want to say about 10 minutes went by. The dude, Andrew, came in, the little tech anesthesia guy. He came in. He was like, are you Miss Lassiter? I was like, yeah. So then he was like, well, we're about to get ready to take you back. We're just waiting for one phone call to know that your OR room is ready. So when he came back, he was talking to me. He was like, I am going to give you some medicine to help relax you. I'm going to give you one now, and then one will be getting the room. So then when he was talking, Megan, the actual anesthesiologist, she came in, and she was just like, yeah, we're getting ready to take you back. I'm just waiting for the phone call, whatever. So Andrew was like talking to her or whatever. And he was like, well, Megan, when should I give her the medicine to calm her down? Because I guess they give that to you, everybody, even if you're not even panicking, they just give it to you to relax you. So anyway, she was like, well, just give her half of one right now. So he like was playing on my IV or whatever. So yeah, he went to my IV, and he gave me a little bit of it. So he asked Megan what time it was, and she was like, it's 12:08, like that. So literally he was like, well, they should be calling us any minute. And then she was like, yeah, they should be calling any minute. So then literally after they had that conversation, the phone rung, and it was like, Miss Lassiter, room is ready. I was like, oh shit. So then, like I said, he gave me half of it. So I guess whatever. So they started rolling me out the little room. Then we went to the back to the OR, and then I was like, did you already give me that medicine? He was like, yeah. He was like, I gave you a little bit of it. I said, I could tell because all the signs on the wall looking real woozy like that. That's what I remember. And then he was like, yeah, you should be seeing, like, things should be a little woozy for you. So we both started laughing. So they put me into the ER. to the OR. And it was like a table in there with like these big boots, y'all. The boots were so freaking big. They were like really high. And then they were like, there's not like the pap smear little things you put your feet in. These were like boots, like when you break your leg and they give you like that boot to put on your leg to walk with. It was like those type of boots. So they were like, one was on each side of the table, on the OR table. So I remember going in there. It was like two lady nurses in there, then Megan and then Andrew. So they was all in there getting everything prepared for me. So they was like, scoot over to the OR table. So I was like, okay. So this, mind you, I was already undressed. All I had was my little, my hospital gown on. I ain't had no underwear or nothing like that. No sock. I mean, I had on some socks. Yeah, I did. So anyway, so they was like, scoot over to the OR table. And I scrolled over to the OR table, and they was like putting the little stickers on the monitors all over me from the front and the back or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. So then Megan was like, Ms. Lassiter, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm cool. And first of all, it was cold back there. So I was like, yeah, I'm cool, just a little cold like that. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna get you some blankets to keep you warm, whatever. So I was like, okay. So then they wanted to move my gown where it was like not sitting underneath me. So I had to pull that up so it was loose. Then they told me to just, they wanted to put the breathing machine over my, what's the breathing thing to, you inhale to breathe, whatever. So he put that over my nose and she said, Ms. Lassiter, do 5 deep breaths. I want to make sure your lungs is full of oxygen. So I did one big one, and she was like, Ms. Lassiter, you're doing so good. Like literally, that's all she kept saying was, Ms. Lassiter, you're doing so good. Keep on breathing. Give me those big deep breaths. So I remember 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. That's all I remember. Like literally. Okay, let me just talk about this for a second. Because I was mad because everybody else who told me they had this experience with anesthesia, that the anesthesiologist normally says like, well, what do you have planned later on today? And then they knock out. But no, they just told me to breathe 5 good times. And she was just telling me like, you're doing such a great job, Ms. Lassiter. And that was it. And then I was breathing, you know what I'm saying? And then like I said, I remember counting to 5 in my head, and I remember saying, Father God, forgive me for my sins. That's all my mama told me. She was just like, well, if something happened to you, you won't know something wrong with you anyway. Just ask God to forgive you for your sins and just make peace with God and things like that. So that's what I was doing. I was just praying, and then I was just like counting in my head. So I thought I said after the 5 breath, I just was like, that was it. I don't know what happened. So then when I was in the PR, so not the OR, but I think it's like the process to recovery. I don't know the real term for it, but I know they told me it was called PR. So I was in there. All of a sudden, well, they put me in there after the surgery. All of a sudden, I heard a man's voice say, Ms. Lassiter. Like, he literally said it like that. And then I woke up. And then I was looking around. I remember it was a desk in front of me. Like, my curtain was open. I remember seeing a desk in front of me. And I remember, like, looking around. I was like, I made it. Hey, I made it. Hey, God did it. Hey, God did it. Hey, hey, hey. That's all I remember. I was just sitting there like, oh my God, Father God, you are good. Hallelujah. So then I was like, the dude was sitting beside me. He was like, are you thirsty? Do you want something to drink? He kept asking me like, do you want cran grape, orange juice, apple juice, or do you want ginger ale? I was like, I like cranberry juice or whatever. So he was like, well, we got cran grape. I was like, okay, cool. So then when I think he went to go get me something to drink. I think when he went to go get me something to drink, I think I kind of fell back to sleep. But then he came back and he was like, Ms. Lassiter, I need you to take these 3 Tylenols. So then I kept telling him, I was like, my stomach hurts so bad. So I was like, can I please sit up? Like, I don't know. It was just like, it was like a cramp that I couldn't really describe. Only thing I knew is that I felt like I wanted to sit up or walk or something just to kind of like ease the pain. So he was like, yeah, you can sit up, but be careful. So he was checking my blood pressure. My blood pressure was bomb. Like a girl didn't even have high blood pressure. So anyways, I set up, and then when I set up, I can kind of feel like the cramps, and I was like, oh, is this gas? I didn't know what type. I didn't know if it was gas. I didn't know if it was like menstrual. I didn't know what was going on. I ain't feel nothing. Like, I just was like, whatever. So he was like, So he gave me the 3 Tylenols. Then I drunk the drink. And I was like, I just wanted some ice or something. Like, I wanted something just to keep on keeping my mouth wet. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, I was kind of like out of it, but not really out of it. So anyways, so after that, I mean, literally, when I woke up, it was like, everything started moving so fast. Cause it was like, he was like, are you sure you're okay to go to recovery? I was like, yeah. He was like, you ready to go? I was like, yeah. So I was like, I just want my husband. I was like that. I said, where's my husband? He was like, well, your husband's in the waiting room. I said, well, I just want my husband. And he was like, are you sure that you're okay to get ready to start walking and stuff? I said, yeah, I want to see my husband. So that was after he gave me the Tylenol. So they rolled me to the to recovery. The recovery, it was a little lady nurse in there, and she was just talking to me. She was like, are you okay? Do you want to I was like, well, I just want to get my clothes out the cubby. I said, I'm ready to go. And she was like, are you sure you're ready to go? I was like, yeah. So I stood up. I got out the bed and I was like, yes, I'm ready to go. When I got up, I was I could tell I was a little bit woozy a little bit, but it kind of was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought I was going to be tripping, but I really wasn't. I was just ready to go. Like, I didn't care what. So then the nurse who checked me in to get me prepared for the surgery, she came over there. She was like, Miss Lasser, I'm so happy you made it through. But let me tell you about this nurse real quick before I go deeper. So like I told you, this nurse, she was an Asian nurse. And so when she came to get me from the waiting room, that's when I told her she weighed me. She wanted me to do the pregnancy test, all that kind of stuff or whatever. So she knew I was scared and she could see it in my eyes, y'all. And this Asian lady, I don't know who she is, but if she watching this video, God bless you. All I know is that she grabbed my hand. She touched my face and she looked at me in my eyes and she said, trust God. She said, everything is going to be okay. Keep praying. God got you. That's what this lady said to me. And that's how I knew God was in there. God was in the operating room. Okay. Do you hear me? That lady looked at me and she was like, I know you're scared and this is your first time, I understand, but trust God. Trust that everything's going to be okay. She kept telling me, every time she came out in the room, like when she was going back and forth, she kept saying, keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. Our Jesus is good. This age, I'm telling you, y'all, it was like, because God already know. He already know how you feel. He already know, like, he already have everybody set up for you. And that lady was set up for me. And I'm thankful because I was worried about nurses being mean to me. You know, everybody that I came in contact with at Duke Raleigh, all those nurses, everybody was so sweet. Like, oh my God. But anyways, I want to tell you that. So anyways, she came back when I was in recovery. She came check when she was like, Miss Laston, I'm so happy everything went okay. And I was getting dressed and she was like, you know, get me my stuff, whatever. So then the other little nurse, she was like, you sure you ready to go? I was like, yes, I'm ready to go. So then she was like, well, let me call your husband and let him know to go get the car and pull up to the front and I'll have transportation to come get you. So, you know, normal hospitals, transportation be taking a long time. Like when you at a big hospital, but this transportation was like cake work. So they came and got me. Ray Sean was pulling up at the front. And when they rolled me outside, guess who was outside behind Ray Sean? My mama. My mama was looking at me. I could see the concern in her face. And I was like, hey, mama. I was like, because they had me in a wheelchair. I was like, hey, mama. She was like, hey, moo. And then I got in the car and I could just tell my mama was so scared. Like, even for her to be there, you know, she was just worried about me. But especially with me not having my phone, she probably was really worried, like, not contacting. I mean, like I said, Ray Sean was there, but Ray Sean probably wasn't the best communicator during the process. So she probably was like, I'm just going to go up there and make sure I check on my baby. So anyways, that's what happened. So then I came home. Mind you, I didn't eat nothing all day. So by the time I got home, okay, so this is what happened. So so remember I told y'all they told me the procedure was going to be like 45 to 60 minutes. So the procedure was like 2 hours. And that's another reason why she wanted to do general anesthesia, because she told me that sometime when you're doing a uterine septum removal, it can take longer than what the doctor may project or longer than what it take for somebody else. So they wanted to make sure I didn't wake up during that process. So that is why she told me, you know, that's why they wanted to put me all the way under, just to be on the safe side, because you never know. So yeah, so the procedure took 2 hours. And I thought it was going to be 45 to 90 minutes. So, I mean, 45 to 60 minutes. So it took a lot longer. So I didn't get out till like 4 o'clock. So I was there from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock pretty much. So anyway, so we leave. So we're gonna go home, and mind you, I haven't used the bathroom yet, and they didn't even require me to use the bathroom before I left. Like, you know, some procedures they want you to use the bathroom, but they was like, no, you don't have to worry about using the bathroom because we know you didn't drink or have anything or whatever. So when I got home, I want to say we got home by like 4:45, and I finally had the urge to want to pee. So baby, I went in that bathroom. So I went in that bathroom, and I could tell like I probably was bleeding, like something was going on because they gave me a pad or whatever. So I went in that bathroom, y'all, and I tried to pee. When I tell you something that burned, it was like I had already knew it was going to burn because it literally felt like something wasn't right down there. Like down there just felt swole. It felt uncomfortable. It felt like somebody had been up in that thing. It felt like just like it felt horrible. So I went to pee and it burned so freaking bad. It was to the point that I didn't even want to pee no more. So that was the first, that's one experience that I had, was just like burning sensation when you pee. Down there was like really swole. They told me not to take a shower the first day, but I wanted to because I didn't want to get in my bed with all that hospital germ on me. So I was like, I'm getting in the shower. When I washed, I just like really took my time and just didn't, you know, try to scrub too hard down there. I was gentle because, like I said, it was very sore. You can definitely tell something was in there or somebody was in there. So that was that. The first 2 days, I didn't really have much cramping. Like I told you, I had that bad cramp that when I was at the hospital, and then I had one more like that the next day, but that was it. So the first 2 days, it was kind of like I said, I just experienced the burning with the pen, and then I just felt like I was like down there was real swole. But baby, on the third day, it felt like my whole uterus is about to come out. It felt like, bro, and I'm still in recovery. So like the cramps was like intensified. I was cramping real bad. They gave me ibuprofen for that. So I had to take 800 milligram ibuprofen twice a day. They do help with the cramps because baby, those cramps come, like they come. And a lot of people were saying like with the hystoscopy, like they was like that they had a quick recovery. It was 2 to 3 days, like little cramping. But since I had other things done like the METROPLASTY and like the D&C, I was gonna experience, you know, more cramps and more bleeding than the other procedures. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Like I'm still in recovery. My 2-week follow-up is on February 2nd. Yeah, it's just I'm not burning when I pee anymore. I'll get a cramp probably like every now and then. I don't even know what day I'm on, but I'm almost 2 weeks would be this Friday. So last Friday just passed was a week. So yeah, I'm hanging in there. So far so good. Like I said, the only thing I experienced really is just cramps, and I still have a little bleeding. I also have like these little pieces of tissue, like from, I guess when they was in there cleaning it out, like they're falling in the toilet, things like that, like a couple little blood looking things, but like little stringy looking blood things. But that's pretty much it. I haven't worked out. I did walk a little bit. I've been walking, but like I haven't really been able to work out because they don't want you to do anything like strenuous, or they don't want you to lift anything. So I haven't been lifting like, you know, like the laundry basket, things like that, because a person like me, you know, it would trigger down there, and I ain't got time to be cramping and bleeding like crazy. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I wanted to tell you guys my experience, how everything went. You know, if you guys have to go through this, just make sure that, you know, you just relax. Take your time. Don't try to do too much when you get home. Just allow yourself time to just heal and recover. I know a lot of us, we be so quick to just like get back to our regular activities because we feel a little bit better, but just relax, okay? Like I said, everybody's different. This was just my experience. Like I said, I had some cramps, really bad cramps on the third day. The third through the 7th day cramps, I want to say. Like I said, even now I still get some random little cramps on each side, like my left or my right side. So yeah, that is my experience from beginning to end. And when I have my 2-week follow-up, I will know more about where I'm at and as far as baby making and things like that. But I told you guys that I want to lose another 50 pounds before I start having kids. I know a lot of plus size girls, you know, this is something that I know that we worry, especially if we haven't got pregnant yet and you want to know what's going on. Some of you guys don't even have periods. And, you know, I'm one who always have a period. Some of you guys don't even have a period. But, you know, go get checked. Go get yourself checked. Go look at all your options. And don't let them always tell you it's because you're overweight. Like, you know, find the right doctor for you that really want to dig deep to see what's wrong with you. And I'm so thankful for my doctors at Duke, from my primary to my GYN to my rheumatologist, everybody that I'm dealing with right now to help me get to a better health. I'm so thankful for. But like I said, I'm a big believer in going to see about you, go get yourself some help. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, you know, they don't. A lot of us don't. We just suffer, or we just say, oh, you know, I don't have a period, so it's not a big deal. Especially if you want to have kids, it's a big deal. And as you get older, you know, you want to get these things looked at. So yeah, guys, that was my experience. That's all what happened. That's all what I had done. I pray that when I go back to the doctor that, you know, I have good news as far as, you know, do I ovulate and when I ovulate. And I hope that this procedure really helps with that, because I get so tired of bleeding, y'all. I mean, it just tires you out. I just hope that my periods are normal now, or my normal, you know, not on for 3, 6, 7 months. Like, that could really affect you a lot. So yeah, hope this video helps somebody. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Gang, gang, gang.